Goosebumps fans, listen up. I'm Uncle Al, fearless leader from Camp Night Moon, your worst nightmare. I'm here to give you goosebumps. So get with the program. What's that, you ask? I'll tell you. Scholastic's Goosebumps by R.L. Stine is the most popular book series in the world. Now let's get on with it. This series is sure to be the start of something big. So if you want goosebumps, get with the program.
Taco Bell presents Nacho and Dog.
Nacho, is your costume on yet?
Okay, I'm ready.
Finally.
Ta-da!
Ooh, what are you supposed to be?
I'm a big burrito!
Now when you buy a Taco Bell Kids meal, you can get a Goosebumps toy. Get the Rapping Mummy, the Skullmobile, or more. But beware, you're in for a scare. You can collect all 4 Goosebumps toys at Taco Bell.
Oh, how cute, a bean burrito. And what are you?
Taco Bell!
Fetch that food, dog!
They're coming to KFC. Now get 4 Goosebumps books for just $1.99 each with any purchase, including the mega meal. There's so much food, it's scary. But hurry, it won't be long before Goosebumps books disappear. Don't say you're not hungry.
It's the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! I'm on my way to Pizza Hut to get a Goosebumps Kids Pack! Yay!
Almost there.
Hey, this isn't the right way.
Well, Scarecrow Steve says it is.
He's no scarecrow!
Sure he is.
Uh-oh, I think I woke the neighbors!
Look, Pizza Head, you'll be perfectly safe in there.
Okay.
Relax, the Goosebumps guys just want you for dinner. See you in the next lifetime. Now you can collect one of 3 ghoulish Goosebumps Glow and Tell story card sets when you buy a Pizza Hut Kids Pack.
Can you scare R.L. Stine? Look inside Lunchables for a chance to win a trip to New York.
Many will enter, few will win.
And help R.L. Stine write a Goosebumps Series 2000 book. You're not chicken, are you?
No, ma'am.
It's not in your closet. It's not under your bed. It's coming for you. The best-selling book series is getting scarier.
Is your school lunch making you sick? Is your little brother or sister driving you absolutely crazy? Gotcha! Then we've got just the thing for you. The Haunted Mask, the first video based on the best-selling Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine. Cool, huh? The Haunted Mask is all the fun and creepiness of a great Goosebumps story come to life. But it's too weird for words! And best of all, you can watch it over and over, anytime you want. Okay. The Haunted Mask, the first Goosebumps video ever from Fox Video.
What do you get when you combine the irresistible taste of fruit snacks with the spookiness of Goosebumps? New Goosebumps fruit roll-ups with scary peel-outs. And fruit by the foot with creepy Goosebumps story teasers. So deliciously unusual, everyone will try to get their hands on them, but they're only around for a limited time. So what's really scary is running out.
What's up? Hey, hey, hey. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another edition of the We Grew Up Better live stream. Tonight's topic, since it is October spooky season, we thought it would only be fitting to go back into the cultural phenomenon that was Goosebumps of the 90s. Guys, do you remember Goosebumps?
Yes, I believe it was the first horror book ever written, if I'm not correct. Yeah, that's not true. But no, but first one I read as a kid, so...
Yeah, George A. Romero, eat your heart out. R.L. Stein beat you to the punch. That's not factual, but it's the internet. You can say whatever you want and say it's a fact on the internet, right?
You can.
I definitely remember Goosebumps, and this is another one of those topics, kind of like the one a few weeks ago that we don't know as much about. In my household, my mom was very against anything, like any movies or stories that had like ghosts or witches or anything like that. And I know that Goosebumps.
Wait. Was your mom very akin to Bobby Boucher's mom in The Waterboy?
It's not that extreme. No, not that extreme. But no, it's you bring up a good comparison for moments of my childhood.
Goosebumps is the devil.
Goosebumps was one of those things that I don't think I was ever specifically told, hey, you can't read that, but they definitely came out when I was a younger child, and knowing some of the other things I was told, oh, you're not watching that movie. I think I saw it at school and I was probably like, my mom would probably say no, so I just never did.
I will say, though, we had a week to prepare. You didn't read a book.
I did not. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I mean, they're only 120 pages on average.
I didn't want to come in here and pretend to know something because I looked it up a week ago.
Do you at least remember that some of the pages, and I know I joke about this a lot, but some of the pages were scratch and sniff. You're right. That's not true. That'd be awesome.
It could be. That would be very nice
for
them to incorporate something like that. All right. So for you, Jordan, we'll start with some facts. So to familiarize yourself a little bit with the brand, so to speak. So Goosebumps was created by R.L. Stein. More than 400 million Goosebumps books have been sold over the years, and they've been translated into more than 32 languages.
Was he that old in the 90s?
He's always been that old.
Okay.
He's got the Benjamin Button disease, Yeah.
Okay.
Believe it or not, that's his high school picture.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
never aged a day. Since.
In 2003, the Guinness Book of World Records gave R.L. Stein the world's best-selling children's book series author award of all time. So, eat your heart out. Anybody else that writes children's book, R.L. Stein just beat you to a bloody pulp.
Yep.
And then at one point, Goosebumps was selling 4 million books a month. That's
a lot of books.
It's not that much.
A lot of books,
which
which is good because he was writing a book a month for a long time. So he definitely had to keep up with the urges and the desire of these kids and the frenzy that became Goosebumps in the 90s. Much of R.L. Stein's early works were actually joke books under a pseudonym. He was Jovial Bob Stein or Eric Affaby. One of his earlier works was he did the novelization for the movie Spaceballs. So that's a random odd fact. And if you tune into our Nickelodeon stream, he was also one of the head writers and creators of the creature creators of Eureka's Castle on Nickelodeon. So we definitely mentioned that on that one. But before Goosebumps, there was the Fear Street series in 1989. R.L. Stein came up with this. It was a teen horror book series. So Goosebumps was, pre-teens. It was like the 7 to 11. Fear Street was a little more edgy, that teen demographic. But it started in 1989, ran all the way up till 2005, and made a return in 2014. He sold over 100 million Fear Street books.
Oh, wow.
So he's pretty good at selling books, to say the least.
So he didn't really make much money then, is what you're saying.
No. I mean, nobody makes money in writing these days or any of those days. So the iconic covers for the main series were drawn by New Jersey artist Tim Jacobus. His method was airbrush art mixed with more colorful visuals, create works of art that were both scary and inviting to children. The only two covers that he didn't actually do in the original 62 were, what were they? Oh yeah, they were Be Careful What You Wish For and Welcome to Dead House. So
interesting.
Yeah, out of the 62, he only missed those two due to deadlines. So if you look at him here, whoever they got to fill in did a nice job. I mean,
yep.
Oops, sorry, I'm holding up the wrong ones. I just realized that.
Well,
there we go. There we go. Be careful what you wish for. This one stands out. Sorry, reverse image. This one looks a little different than his art style. Still got the airbrush, but like just the detail, especially in her face, you're like, somebody else phoned that one in. And this one, he wasn't on board yet. But still, it's an amazing cover. That very, very first one.
Yep.
R.L. Stine has been on record saying that the first one was too scary in his opinion. He said he didn't really find or hadn't found his niche of mixing comedy with horror for the kids.
He was just getting off of Fear Street, which was not for kids though.
Yep.
So yeah, dude, and we have to. I'm just curious your perspective on this too, but the cover art is actually what really, to me, I mean, that guy has.
That's
to
what drew you
so
in.
much
I mean,
credit. Yeah,
like
you saw that thing on the shelf. It just pops and it looks awesome.
It pops to you, and like the collectability of them, because they all, like I said, they all have that logo that was raised edges. So like you got that really nice, literal bumps on the book.
Let's not pretend that all of us didn't sit there and just rub our finger across that freaking logo. It's incredible.
The collectability of them all kind of, having the same art style, but like a different image in the square, so to speak. So they all looked uniform together, which was great for collectors and, children that are learning about OCD. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Next up, the Goosebumps TV show. You might recognize this young chap, Ryan Gosling. He was in season 1 episode Say Cheese and Die, where there's a magic camera. It's loosely based off a Twilight Zone episode. Basically, the camera takes a picture. On the Polaroid picture, it shows you a future that is going to happen. There's nothing you can do to avoid it, and the future is almost always dark and very bleak. So that was the twist. R.L. Stine was very famous for adding twists to all his stories. So if there was a happy ending, it was almost always ruined with the last 2 sentences of the books to let you know that it was not going to be a happy ending after all.
Wasn't Ryan Gosling in an episode of
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Yes.
We just showed last week.
Yeah. So he was also in that show. Both shows coincidentally were filmed in Canada because they're this is a true fact, lacking child labor laws and tax credits. So they could hire the kids and make them work longer hours than they could anywhere else. And it was cheaper to film in Canada because of tax credits.
I did get to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark, but that might also slightly be because my mom didn't know I was watching it, because Goosebumps was really popular. And I think she somewhat knew about that. And Are You Afraid of the Dark just came on Nickelodeon being right after that sometimes. And I was like, oh, okay, we'll watch this too now.
Paul, they are to a certain degree. It depends on like if you've got, because they've been reissued to death and the cover art's changed. If you have any of the original 1 through 62 and you have them all in decent condition, you can make a pretty penny splitting them up or selling them as a lot. I think the going rate for the 1 through 62 in average conditions about $300. So
it's decent.
It's decent. It's not gonna retire you or put the kids in college or anything like that. But
a trip to Branson, sure.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to Branson. Oh, Stine's least favorite book in his original 62 Goosebumps was The Barking Ghost and Go Eat Worms. He was not a fan of either one of those stories.
Interesting.
I mean, you can't win them all. When you write over 400 books, surely you're going to have some duds out there, at least some that you think are duds.
I do really like the caption, though. The bad dog. Really bad.
Really bad dog.
I know. It's incredible.
Yep. Goosebumps actually had an official mascot. It was Curly the Skeleton. Despite being featured on the covers of many compilations and featured in most of the merchandise, he never really had an official backstory or anything. And he was actually kind of usurped by Slappy, the ventriloquist dummy, who really kind of became synonymous with the brand, despite lots of money and effort going into marketing this Curly the Skeleton.
It does a lot of different hairdos.
He does. He had like a pink mohawk for a little while, and it was the 90s. They tried a lot of things. They tried the mullet. They tried the mohawk. They were going for anything and everything that would stick. In July of 1995, the first major spin-off series for Goosebumps was released. It was Give Yourself Goosebumps, which served as a choose-your-own-adventure style book, which none of us are guilty of going a couple of pages ahead, looking out, what kind of, trouble was awaiting us, and then saying, oh, nope, I didn't take my finger off the page. It doesn't count, and going immediately back. None of us ever did that. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
These would continue.
I barely remembered those.
Yeah, Give Yourself Goosebumps would last from 1995 to 1999, and then last but not least, the final Goosebumps in the original 62 was Monster Blood 4. So you had 4 books in the Monster Blood series, each becoming more and more ridiculous, as you can already tell from the cover. But still, pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, though, you're reading, you're trying to turn yourself big to fight a giant hamster.
Yeah,
that's a good time. You're basically turning yourself into King Kong to fight Godzilla. It's good times.
It's the best of times. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the best of times. But I mean, I don't know about you guys, but my experience of acquiring Goosebumps oftentimes revolved around the Scholastic Book Fair. So like the book fair would come to your school or whatever, or come to town, however, whether it be your library. Mine was always at school. It was typically like once a month, I want to say. They would give you a little Scholastic like catalog type of thing where all these books are going to be coming out in the next like 90 days or so. You flip through it, you're supposed to check a box, take it home, mom and dad, they write their credit card. This is, the 90s before people were worried about identity theft or stuff, fraud like that. But they'd write like, they'd send you to school with a check, or they'd write their credit card information on the paper, and you mail it in, and then bada bing, bada boom, you pick up your books. And then later they realized that was kind of sketchy. So they started doing like in-person only orders as well. But nothing was cooler than going in there with a $20 bill and walking out with like 4 Goosebumps books, a Where's Waldo book, like a Lamborghini poster, and maybe like a Michael Jordan poster or something like that.
Yeah.
You were the coolest kid on the playground.
There's some Garfield comics.
And $20 clearly a lot farther. I feel like nowadays you get 1 Goosebumps book.
Pika says he's going to see the artist of the original Goosebumps at a panel this week. So that's awesome.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Because, man, that's really what did it for me to start on those books. But no, so it's funny you said, totally
Matthew
different
says,
experience. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Blind kid looks for Braille book to read in the library full of Goosebumps covers would have been funny.
You went, what the? Yeah.
The sentence is just gibberish.
I forgot to mention Haley needed help with something.
Oh, you're good.
He was going to have to go.
Whoops.
I'll be right back, but you guys keep going.
You're fine.
So basically, at I never went to a book fair, which is weird. I can't remember when I first got my I think 4-pack, but this was after our school library actually had the Goosebumps books in there to just check out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that was the first time I saw it, was just at our school library. So of course the cover stuck out. I was like, this looks awesome. So took it, and then after the first one, I just kept going back there and just kept checking them out. But then of course after that I was like, all right, I want to get something now for the house. So I don't even remember the 4-pack I got. It's just too long ago. But yeah, all school libraries. So man, they were doing it at our school library.
Yeah, I mean, when it started taking off, I remember the same thing. Our library started allowing us to check them out, things like that. And I think they kind of started in like the 20s, the series number wise, and they'd missed out on the older ones. So, but that was back in the day when like you go to the mall and there's like 3 bookstores, 4 toy stores or whatever. So it was easy for me to go back and get the original ones. I've got the original 1 through 62 set, had it since childhood, love it to death.
It's awesome.
I mean, you felt like the coolest kid in school if you had them all, depending on how old you were. As you got older, maybe your fondness for the series waned, or maybe you didn't feel like showing your girlfriend, hey, this is my Goosebumps collection, girl. Yeah. Paul says he remembers those classic book fairs. My kids have those too. I think they're still a thing. Just I don't have a kid in school, so I can't speak to how they're ran and operated. I don't know if they still do the pamphlet. I would doubt it. I assume everything's like, just go to the website and order this type of thing. D says, loved Goosebumps. I still have my Goosebumps blanket from the 90s when I was a kid. Hey, there you go. We're going to talk about that later, because they made all sorts of crazy, odd merchandise, because I mean, it was everywhere. Like, you're talking about the books here. I mean, it starts off right out of the gate with Welcome to Dead House. It doesn't really get any better. Like I said, it's a great, it will just kill you. That's the tag. Just right out of the gate. You get this creepy dude hanging out here. Not inviting, to say the least. I mean, the door's open, but like, what kid is and I totally misspoke. I said he didn't do the first one. He did do the first one.
He did.
Yeah, it was the Be Careful What You Wish For. That was the one he didn't do.
Gotcha. Which you could semi tell there that was
Yeah, and I remember when that came out, I was just like, this looks different. Like it was over my head who the artist was and any of that kind of stuff. But like his art style is just, you can tell.
It's incredible.
It is incredible. Like I said, this airbrush and acrylics and all sorts of like just
listen, and I know we're biased here, but do you still love these just as much today? Like I can
100%
read these now, watch the show, and enjoy just as much as I did as a kid.
Yeah. Lee Fro says, "Oh, my Goosebumps books. I have about 30 of them. Remember ordering them in elementary with the Scholastic catalog. Yeah, the Scholar catalog. Yep. There's another person. Trading cards are very nostalgic to me. I recently bought an unopened full box. That's another thing that we need to talk about specifically in the 90s. I don't know about you, but I definitely went down that rabbit hole of collecting anything and everything trading card wise. Pencil erasers took my money. I tell my wife I have 1 through 62 Goosebumps set and she doesn't care. I mean, I'm sure your wife is a wonderful woman, but maybe it's time to look elsewhere in a spouse. I'm just, I'm not gonna judge. Hey, don't worry. I found out my wife had never seen the movie Goonies, and I was like, "This is stuff you should have told me before I said I do," because this is not something I'm willing to stand for. Stay out of the basement. That was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, sorry. Stay out of the basement. Thank you, Mark, for correcting me.
That one's surprising to me because that one does.
Let me see. I think I have that one. I have a bunch of them here. Here we go. Yeah.
Although I felt like that cover gave away too much of
the story.
Yeah.
Yep. So stay out of the basement.
Oh, that's not the one I'm thinking of, but that's actually a good cover.
It is a good cover. Like I said, it looks like his art style. So whoever filled in for him did a good job. But he's been on record as saying, he didn't get a whole lot of details. A lot of times towards the middle of the run, he would just get like basic plot points, and then it was like, hey, here's the title and a 1-sentence synopsis, and he would like send him 3 random drafts of what he thought the book would look like, and he said for the most part they always just went for it because there wasn't enough time to really garner some feedback and him to go back and start again. So tennis,
he loved his camp story,
ping pong, monsters, anyone? I mean, good stuff. Yeah.
All right, what do you have? Can we talk favorites yet? Do you have any?
Oh, I mean, yeah. So when we talk favorites, like I always have to like split it into 2 categories because there's like story and cover.
Oh yeah, story.
Right.
Yeah,
so story would be One Day at Horrorland. That one's like
that's very
hard for me to beat. Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Yep. That one's pretty awesome. It has a pretty sweet plot twist. At least it did when I was a kid. The art of the Goosebumps book is amazing. I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to bring it up. This is what it looks like.
Okay, that's going to be that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I tried to look before we started. It's out of stock on Amazon, but you can find it on barnesandnoble.com. I think it's $17.99. I think I paid like $30 for this when it first came out on Amazon, so you can get a deal there. One cool thing I like it, not only do you get like all the artwork and everything, but you get like the see if I can get it without my lights glaring. So you can see like his previous drafts of like what he thought the cover was going to be or what he
started really with. Cool. Yeah.
And then what it turns into. Plus you get all the like the behind the scenes story between him and R.L. Stine as far as what they thought of and when it came out and just lots of cool stuff. Like the Haunted Mask, that's another like favorite cover of mine.
Yep.
Storyline, it's pretty awesome too. It's one of those things like for whatever reason you thought might actually happen to you as a kid. Like it just seemed plausible.
Now the one
also
sorry go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's also the only one that is loosely based on any sort of precedent or real world experience. It was he came up with the idea when his son was struggling to get out of his Halloween costume one year, R.L. Stine. So that's where he came up with the Haunted Mask story.
I did not know. That's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. The rest of them are just hey, insert hijinks, random kid names, spookiness, rinse and repeat. I mean, he clearly had a formula if he was putting stuff out every month. I mean, I can't write a book, let alone a book a month.
I mean, a lot of it just made sense too, because a lot of it was just fears that a lot of just you would have as a kid. Oh, I got a creepy sink. I got a basement's creepy. Well, cool. We'll do something on the basement.
Yeah, it's just like you find a setting, you insert random, like his kid name generator. I always felt bad for him because I was like, there was typically like 4, 5, 6, 7 kids per book. So I'm like, man, he's really burning through these names. So like, is he just like spinning a wheel?
Jerry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which funny you say Terry and Jerry. They were the main characters of Ghost Beach, which is the shirt I'm wearing. But yeah, Half Price Books is where I look for Goosebumps now. That's a good place to find them. That was my favorite book. I had the TV series styled green mask for Halloween in elementary school. Yeah, the green mask they sell is pretty cool. They had like the plastic one that just went over, had like the string, and then they had like the really good latex one. They still sell it to this day, which is like $50, which is awesome. Matthew says, I kind of wish I had Nightmare as a kid with those graphic style. Would have been epic bedwetting story right about now.
Wait till I tell you this.
Yeah. We're talking about favorites. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're good. I was just gonna say I'm right on board with the ones that you mentioned, and the other ones, Haunted Mask. I also really like the other one is the Girl Who Cried Monster. I think is another really one with a fun twist. But yeah,
Phantom of the Auditorium. Just a little goofy play on the Phantom of the Opera story. That's always good.
Believe it or not, I think that was my first one I read.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good starting point. Night of the Living Dummy, like I said, Slappy has become synonymous with the brand. You can't think about Goosebumps without thinking about this creepy ventriloquist. In fact, I was watching a couple of the old TV show episodes, and my wife came home with groceries a little while ago, and it was one of the episodes was Night of the Living Dummy 2 or Return of the Living Dummy. I forget the exact name. And my wife watched it for about 10 minutes. She's like, nope, don't like this. This is disturbing. Nope, too much.
Do you remember the movie Dead Silence? I think is what it's called. Where it's like a straight up rip from Slappy. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm thinking of.
Dawn says, I'll have to find my new one. My mask melted in a box in the attic. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, those attics get toasty, apparently.
Yeah. My dad always made a big fit about it, and my mother hid it for me that Halloween. Well, that sucks. Dang it, Mom. My mask melted, and it's all your fault.
Yeah. It's not going to stick to his face.
Yeah. Jordan, what about you? Did you, of the Goosebumps books you're familiar with, is there any, whether it be the artwork or the story that you remember or that stuck out?
So
now that I put you on the spot with 3 seconds of
I have an idea. I have a fun idea.
I definitely remember seeing that ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah.
Many times. I haven't looked. But there's nothing real specific.
Doug, can you go back to the previous picture that has the book covers? Well, not all, but a bunch of them. All right, let's just say you're in a bookstore, okay? Which one are you going off the shelf to read there?
I'm gonna look away from the camera because I can see the screen better. Which one am I grabbing?
Let's just see. As a
hey,
child,
Lefo, thank you. We like going down the memory lane with you guys.
Yeah, it's probably hard to read those covers, but
I know. I'm just basing it off the picture. Then
okay.
Maybe
this is the time when you're actually supposed to judge a book by its cover. So.
Yeah, maybe the giant hamster or
okay,
the picture with the skeletons.
Okay, all right. What about the camp?
Camp. I was getting ready to say or a camp one. I enjoy a good scary camp movie, especially when it's as cheesy as can be. I know that this probably isn't quite
the
same,
good.
But
that's one of my favorite books.
Welcome to Camp Nightmare is a blast.
Yep.
You should have read it. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. It's got a cool plot twist. I'll spoil it for you. They all find out that they're on another planet and they're training to go fight these crazy people on this weird planet called Earth.
Interesting.
Yes.
The whole thing. Yeah. There's like this monster and there's all these things that are happening to this camper and his friends. And he's like, oh my God, what's happening? And then it all Yeah, you passed. This is an extensive training ritual so you could get ready because we're going to planet Earth to fight the Earthlings.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So M. Night Shyamalan, eat your heart out. R.L. Stine was plot twisting before you were out of diapers, son.
That's quite the plot twist right there. And so the entire time, it just seems like it's like a camp story about kids at camp.
Exactly.
Okay, that's actually kind of curious.
That'll blow your 10-year-old mind. You're like, wait, what?
How that all plays out.
There's not to keep running stories here, but the girl who cried monster, she of course
another girl.
sees the monster, and she's like trying to tell her parents, like no one believes them, sort of thing. And then like it literally ends where, oh, her parents are monsters and eats that monster. And but like that's the plot twist. Not that even scared her. They're just like they're just monsters, and that was like another monster.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
plot twist.
Yep.
Yep.
Good stuff. And then over the years, like I said, I mentioned to earlier how Goosebumps has been reissued and re-released. So here's some comparisons. Jim Thiessen, he was the artist instead of Tim Jacobus on that 1992 version of Stay Out of the Basement. As you can see, the reissue version, what it looked like, they still kind of kept similar styles with the the raised Goosebumps and the kind of open window box. And in 2011, this is kind of the current version of Goosebumps and Slappy World books. This is what they all look like.
I prefer the 90s.
I prefer the
too.
real one.
Something about that little like window box and the slime and everything.
It just
like
sticks out more.
I know, like
the older logo, like this. This just looks Ghostbustery to me. Like I want this Goosebumps slime.
Even as someone who didn't read the books, I definitely recognize their covers. Like you could walk through your school library, or like you said, when they had those book fairs. I mean, you didn't even have to read the word Goosebumps or look into it. Like you could see it out of the corner of your eye, and you knew that that's what that book was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even admit it. If the covers looked like that third one. I don't even know if I wanted that off the shelf as a kid.
The iconic imagery of the book, like the collected, and then like seeing them all like stacked together. Like I said, collectability, collector friendly.
That's
like
awesome.
You got unique, bright colors that stand out. You got them all numbered in sequence. They all look uniform. They didn't get all crazy and start changing things. It's good stuff. Pika says, "Yep, that new art ruined them. Nothing better than the original." I mean, that's why we say we grew up better. Goosebumps books and things are like still being published today, but hard to beat the original. And I mean, if you're R.L. Stine too, like if you're on book number 419, like I haven't read his newest children's book, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you're probably more polished at book 19 than you are at 419. I think things probably come a little more stagnant, a little more stale, hard to keep things fresh.
How do you write?
I know
we were saying
books. We were talking about how many kids he's used in books, and now he's asked me to run out of kids' names.
Yeah. No, that's
you gotta have a generator or whatever. And this is like before, like this is like what, Windows 95. So like I don't think there was a lot of generator websites on Windows and the internet.
It's one of those things. So I haven't gone into detail, but so for my job, I do commercial music work and a lot for in the cheerleading industry. So a lot of people want a lot of the same thing, and I'll do sometimes I've done 400 mixes in a year. And everyone's like, how do you make up that many different things? And it's like, well, most people want kind of the same stuff. 400 books is a very different situation. Because first of all, that takes way longer than it does to take a minute to write a minute-long song. And it also you have to have plot points and twists and characters. I don't know how you'd write a new book
any little thing he just
without doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Like he was saying that his kid was having a hard time getting out of his Halloween costume, so he's like, boom, that's how he came up with the haunted mask. So it's like any little thing like that.
You'd have to. You'd have to. Everything that comes to your head, you'd have to be like, all right, let's run with that one. Because
Mango, what's going on?
Yep. And recently he's, obviously he's done interviews over the years, like, how do you write this much? And one of the things he said, he's like, I felt like I've kind of drained the well dry and sort of certain, plot premises or whatever. So he says he starts kind of backwards. He tries to come up with a title and work backwards. So he thinks of something that's catchy.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, how do I, develop a story around this, as opposed to let me just write, from scratch, come up with an amazing plot and twists and all that. It's like, no, he tries to start doing it backwards, where earlier he would just have that aha moment or start, using his little formula that he has in his mind. So, I mean, there's definitely, ways to do it. He clearly has it figured out. And to this day, still writing up a fever, still publishing books, so clearly he loves what he does, and he's more.
I honestly,
You'd have to. There's no way you could do that if you don't love it.
I honestly thought you were gonna say that he was like, I've pretty much, had the well just it's all dry now, and he's like, wait a second, new book idea. The drained well. I thought that's where you're going with that. Yeah.
The dry
well.
That's pretty much how he does
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I can't think of a story that has involved the wishing well or anything like that. So I mean, that's untapped territory.
Are you listening?
Yep. I'll take 0.5% royalty, but
I wonder if at this point, and maybe not. I wonder if it's like ghostwriters or anything, or like some people who work for him that they have ideas too, and maybe write like a general plot and give it to him, so he has all these ideas that are like, oh yeah, this one was a cool
He's
one.
only
Let's move with
hired
this.
kid name people. That's all he has work for. Their whole job is to find kids' names.
Child labor. So you're saying that R.L. Stein's breaking child labor laws? Is what you're saying.
You did Terry. You did Jerry. Yeah, same book.
All right. So, like I said, Goosebumps was a huge thing in the 90s. It just spiraled out of control. It was supposed to be 4 books, turned into 10 books, and then it became this cultural phenomenon where it was everywhere. You couldn't go bookstores, couldn't go to the library, you couldn't go to Walmart, you couldn't go to anywhere to see some sort of Goosebumps merchandise. So clearly they wanted to garner what these kids were interested in, communicate with these kids, touch base with the fans, because this is pre-internet, really. There's no other way to have a personal connection with your fans, your community. So they came up with the Goosebumps Fan Club. Are you guys familiar with it? Either one of your members? I was a card-carrying member. Proud to admit it.
That's awesome.
Didn't read the books, but I was a member. No, I'm just kidding.
He wanted those perks. So let's check out an advertisement for the Goosebumps Fan Club.
The #1 best-selling author in America, R.L. Stine, wants to give you lots and lots of goosebumps 3 different ways. First, Goosebumps Books, where the terror began and the screams go on forever and ever. Then give yourself Goosebumps, the books where you choose from 20 different scary endings. And coming soon, Goosebumps Triple Header, 3 stories in one monstrous book, 3 times scarier. From Parachute Publishing and Scholastic.
That's a bold claim.
Books are sold.
Notice the address, though. Notice the address.
Goosebumps Fan Club.
Oh, really?
Jefferson City, Missouri. So right in our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
As a kid, I just thought that was, the local hub or something of the Goosebumps Fan Club. But lo and behold, that's where Parachute and Scholastic was like home base was Jefferson City. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Cool stuff. JJ says, if you like Goosebumps, watch Invisible Enemies. It's a Christian movie for kids about glasses that let you see demons. Isn't that the plot premise of the movie They Live with Roddy Piper? Instead of demons, it's aliens.
Kind of-ish. Yeah, it's kind of like aliens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But still,
yeah.
If you like Goosebumps, check it out. Recommendation from JJ. I can't get that art book ? Like I said, check Barnes & Noble or Books a Million's website.
Oh yeah, you missed a really sweet art book that. Okay. This might be a dumb question, but what has that person also done? Because let's be honest, if he didn't have them, I mean, that is like the biggest reason that got you into the books.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I know he's done other stuff. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, look at your freaking t-shirt right now.
Yeah. You got a freaking banshee floating around.
Like, I wonder, who got him to be the artist for these books? I mean, that was the.
Yeah,
that was.
I know the background. He's got his own biography. So there's a biography on R.L. Stine and a biography on Tim Jacobus. The biography on R.L. Stine, I think, is called "It Came from Ohio," and the tongue-in-cheek response to that on Tim Jacobus, the artist, his biography book is "It Came from New Jersey," because he's from New Jersey.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. We got a super chat from Matthew. I appreciate that so much. Matthew says, Goosebumps character Halloween party, who you inviting, going with, and why? So I want Slappy, the ventriloquist, to be on my side because he's a demonic little, ventriloquist dummy. And quite frankly, if he's not on my side, I don't want to be at that party because it's one of those things like you're always on edge and you're super nervous because like somebody gonna mess with you? Is like somebody getting ready to like pour something down your shirt or smash a dinner plate over your head? Like I don't, he did all sorts of mischievous things that not necessarily put the kids in deathly peril, but it was always like, hey, he framed them for things they didn't do. So I want him on my side.
Well, let me twist that around though. If he's with you, though, you're not going to be nervous about, oh great, what's Slappy going to do tonight?
As long as he's not framing me. Like if he's just walking around messing with people, he's on my side.
So is there like a battle going on in this party? Because you said you wanted him there to be on your side. If there's some fighting going on, then maybe he'll take those kids from the camp. What's gonna happen. Those kids from that camp that have all been trained to.
Most parties I've been to in my teen / adolescent / adulthood, all that, anytime there's alcohol involved, there is some sort of skirmish that gets kerfuffled up. I've never been a part of it, but I've always been the guy that's all like, hey, that guy said something about you. And I go to the other guy, I'm like, hey, that guy also said this about you. And then I just kind of sit back and drink my Gatorade in the corner and watch it.
Slappy comes up with a knife and he's like, were you talking to my friend over here?
Yeah. You know what I mean? It turns into West Side Story. Yeah. But to underail that, I would probably, as far as like if I could dress up as a character or something.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I'm trying to think of, because the kids most of the time didn't really ever have like, they were just like things were happening to them. They weren't like the main baddie or
I know it's
whatever.
such a simple answer for me to say the haunted mask, but
the haunted mask.
Time,
I mean, it's an awesome costume. I'm trying to think of this one. Here we go. The Attack of the Mutant, like this.
Jordan about this during the
Batman-esque costume. So like, if someone could make me a legit Attack of the Mutant costume, I would definitely go to the Halloween party dressed as that, because that would be sweet.
Dude, like on his costume on the TV show.
Yeah, they did really good. So like the Goosebumps TV show was stupid low budget. One of the earlier episodes,
dude.
Specifically the Ryan Gosling episode when they're talking about Say Cheese and Die. One of the premises of the story or whatever is Dad buys a new car and they're showing it off, and he's like, oh man, they're driving around, and he's like, this thing's got some speed, and the kids in the back's like, oh, it rides comfortably. It's a Ford Taurus. They're driving around. They're talking about like it's a GT Mustang or whatever. Like it's a 4-door family sedan, and it's an economical one at that. So I mean, it really kind of goes to show you. Like
that's so funny how I can relate to that when my dad goes gold Honda Accord 4-door. We're like, oh yeah, it's real nice. It gets good gas mileage too, kids.
runs like a dream. It's a champ. So Matthew, I'd be curious to hear what your response on this one is. What would you dress up as, and who would you invite for your Goosebumps character Halloween party?
Yeah, you can't do the Phantom because that's just gonna look like you're the Phantom from
Phantom. Yeah, I was about to say.
It's like,
how did they get away with that? I saw that cover and was like,
it's the Phantom of the Auditorium.
That's a good point. Are you gonna dress up as a giant hamster to the party?
Yes.
I like it. But you can just put little bits of
a little bit of green drip.
Yeah. And then you're done.
That'd be good.
Sounds great. I would definitely do that.
You can put yourself in a cage. Giant cage around it that looks like you're forcing out of, like, you know what I mean? You're getting bigger than the cage. I like it.
Good stuff. I think I had some images. Maybe not. Anyways, I didn't have them pulled up, but the fan club, going back to what we started talking about, the fan club. Yeah, it's easy to get derailed. Like I said, it's nostalgia. Definitely check it out. The early fan club boxes they would mail you were actually a coffin-shaped box. So like the first 2 years, instead of just a normal mailer, you got this coffin-shaped box. There was a green one and a black one. The very first year came with like an autographed headshot, a wallet, like keychain, little odds and ends, things like that. A little card that says you're, number one Goosebumps fan. A baseball hat said number one fan right here. Totally had that. Then after year, they got like weaker and weaker as far as like the prize pack, because their popularity got bigger and bigger. So instead of all that sweet swag in a coffin, it just became like a normal box, and it's like, here's a sticker, here's a pog, here's a pencil, here's an eraser, here's a bandana. It started getting a little weak.
Gotcha. Dude, just from the original ones, if I would have known that, I would have been all over that.
Hamster dance.
Given in a little coffin box. That's really cool.
It was sweet. I was a victim of, targeted marketing. I say victim. I was a welcome recipient, shall I say? But it was like, it was the Fox Kids Saturday morning thing that let me know about the Goosebumps fan club, and I think there was also some like little flyers in the middle of the book sometimes as the new releases came out. Said, hey, write in here, send a postcard, self-addressed envelope to this. But it was the 90s. They also had some really special weird merch because it's the 90s. Why wouldn't you have weird merch? So what do you guys think about a skateboarding mummy sleeping bag?
I think that's awesome.
I think that's awesome too.
I know.
I would have this, and I would so happily go camping and like show off this with pride and joy if I can have an adult-sized version of this to this day. I'd be all like, what's up? Oh, you got Carhartt and North Face sleeping bags. That's cool. That's cool. Roll this bad boy out. What do you know about it, mummy?
Yeah.
On a skateboard, huh?
Yeah.
Boo, dude. Boo, dude.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see the boo, dude?
No. That's hilarious. I don't know how I missed that.
Okay, I saw Boo, but didn't realize it was
Yeah,
like
love
dude
it.
after it.
Because you're going to feel so freaking cool.
Because that's what
When you're
mummies
funny
say.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo, dude.
Hey, you want to stay in the night?
Dude.
Sure. You show up, you got your bag, tucked underneath your arm, and as soon as
Yeah.
you do the full out, you're all of a sudden
Everyone's
like
like,
coolest kid.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got a slappy doll that was ripped in the middle that you sleep with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony
Like,
says,
I
I'm
didn't
literally pausing
dude.
this show now because I'm reading Goosebumps to my daughter. We've ripped through 15 of them already this year.
That's
that is
awesome, Tony.
Props to you for spreading that around to the younger generation. That's very
Yep.
cool. Hopefully she's enjoying them, but I love that you're sharing that with your daughter. And props to, you guys going through 15. I will willingly admit / confess to everybody here that like I attribute a lot of my illiteracy, which you can say good or bad, to the Pizza Hut Book It program, so I could get personal pan pizzas. I'd read as many books as possible because I'd get little stickers and stamps and stuff at school, and then you get a reward. You go to Pizza Hut, get a little personal pan pizza. You trade that in sometimes. I got like some X-Men VHS videos where I could watch single episodes of the X-Men animated television series, and then also Goosebumps, man. Like I was reading them every single month a new one came out. I would burn through it in a single day, and I was like, what's next, and I started expanding into other things, and lo and behold, I'm reading Stephen King when I'm 10. So things got out of hand really quick, but it really got me into reading. Like I became this nerdy kid that was like, I played sports and everything, and I play outside and do all that stuff. But then like recess at school, I'm like, I'll just stay in and read a book. Like I can get halfway through a Goosebumps book in that 30-minute recess or whatever. And I loved it.
I know. We talked about this last week, but yeah, same thing with me where I'm highly dyslexic. They told my mom that I was never going to be able to read. So that was not true. But yeah, that was the first thing besides playing some good old Final Fantasy on Super Nintendo that really got me just hooked on reading. And but yeah, sorry, the Hardy Boys actually was something I dibble dabbled in, which I don't know if anybody read some Hardy Boys.
Yeah, Hardy Boys.
But,
There's the Boxcar Children.
Yep.
I mean, there was a lot of scholastic books that were, in that kind
You
of
would
like
love those, by the way, if you haven't read them.
good.
Yeah,
Let's solve a mystery. Let's solve a mystery type.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo,
Are they
only
better
more intelligent.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Can't say for sure. But anyways, yeah, same thing, man. That's who knew that you just need to have something really cool and interesting and
to get you hooked.
Yep.
Yeah. And then keep it on the 90s. You couldn't have 90s without rollerblades.
Jordan didn't read the books, but he did have those.
No,
he did have the inline skip, right?
I'm not joking. I don't know if they were actually the Goosebumps brand, but my rollerblades
They all
in the
look
90s
like that.
Just like that, right?
identical to that.
Same color scheme and everything.
Yes,
Pink, green.
I don't specifically remember them being Goosebumps, but no, for real, that is what my rollerblades looked like. Green and purple in the pink,
those are pretty stylish. I mean, you got the green wheels, the pink strap. You even got the skeleton on the heel boot cup there. Mike says Goosebumps rollerblades? Good God, where do we draw the line? I want to say they even had like the traditional four-wheel skate, the not inline skate, so you could have your traditional roller skate as well as the rollerblades. Oh, I should call it rollerblades. Rollerblade is a brand. Inline skates.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sued.
So you can mix and match them. You can put a roller skate on one foot, a rollerblade on the other. I did that.
Yeah, I
sometimes.
imagine that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
We mentioned it. This is the haunted mask that is being sold today. You can get it. I think it's like
awesome.
$54.99. It's a pretty awesome latex mask. I mean,
I was gonna say that looks pretty legit.
it is legit. Assuming the circumference of your head, though, you may actually have actual issues taking this on and off, and in line with the story that it is based upon. So, because I can imagine, like, I don't know if anybody's ever wore like latex mask like that. Like, you get hot and sweaty in there because like you're always like breathing into your face. It gets a little hard to take those things off. So
that looks as if it goes around the front and back and sides of your head. So
great story on this topic where my mom used to make our Halloween costumes. And this one year she was like, "What do you want to be?" And somehow we got on Jack Skellington. She gets these 2 foam safari hats, cuts the rim, and then literally takes it and forms it so it's like a mask like this, and they're both white. So she cuts eyes, mouth, and makes a Jack Skellington head. But I remember it's basically on once it's on. It was like stuck on my head. But to make it black, she's like, "We'll just put some cloth there." Dude, I couldn't see a freaking thing.
Walking into trees and doorsteps and tripping.
I went right into the tree, and I was like, "I gotta get this thing off." But I mean, it looked good, but dude, it was stuck on my head the whole night. Couldn't just take it off. It was, you had to, commit. But I could not see a thing.
I feel like you're jumping the gun on these Halloween stories.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. We'll save them for. We got plenty in the.
Well, no, just the mask thing made me think of it.
What kid would not want to go to grandma's house with his Goosebumps luggage?
No one. Everyone.
Yeah. I mean, you got creepy mummies galore on this. Lots of eyes, mummy wrapping paper. I mean, this was like Louis Vuitton for children.
It is. It really is.
It's got the all over print that you want. Yeah, I mean, it's good stuff.
You want to know what was a missed opportunity though? Boo Dude. Should be on there somewhere.
Dude.
I hope it was maybe on the other side or inside, like when you flip the luggage flap open, you're putting your clothes in there. It says "Boo Dude." I mean, that's Adam says, "Okay, I'm heading to Spirits tomorrow for a Goosebumps adventure."
Yes.
Hopefully they got something for you, even if it's like a small keychain or something. And then, of course, the creepy slappy dummy, 30 inches tall. Pull a string and he talks, movable mouth, moving eyes. Because what person doesn't want that sitting in their bedroom,
and they're
staring at them?
Sleepy bag when they go to bed at night.
When the power goes out and the tree outside is scratching at the window. Yeah,
that's who's going to a party with you, Doug. Right there, that's your guy.
Exactly. And I love like the toy maker here. If you see, like, I don't know if you can see this zoomed in, but it's like the Goldberger, and it's got this like happy little Susie Sally looking face girl logo, and there's the demonic slappy dummy. Thank you, Goldberger.
Waving at you in the box. Not taking it home, dude.
It's a trick.
You can stay at Toys R Us.
And then what about a pencil holder that you stab Slappy in his skull with?
I feel better about that.
I mean, it's okay. Like I said, he had it coming, and of course, 80s and 90s. Even 70s. 70s was a little tin, but 80s and 90s was when they became plastic. But the classic lunchbox thermos combo. I mean, I had so many of these over the years. I had a Gremlins one, I had a He-Man one, I had an X-Men one, I had a Goosebumps one. I'm trying to think. I had one more. I can't remember what it was, but I had Power Rangers. Power Rangers. I still have that one. But every single time it was PB&J sandwiches, a couple of chips, a thermos full of Kool-Aid for me, and that's how I grew up to be big and strong / like a very small child because I was just eating nothing but sugar water, red dyed PB&J sandwiches.
Breakfast and lunch of champions.
Sathius says I had the dark crystal lunchbox. That was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that's a refined, and they were all made by like the same company, the Aladdin brand.
Dude, the lunch boxes are just awesome.
Yeah,
we were fascinated to go into. There's this huge vintage antique store next to us, but they just have a whole thing of old lunch boxes like that. It's cool.
Paul says, I lost so many lunch boxes and thermoses over the years. Mom was not happy, to say the least. Yeah, the thermos is always the first thing to get lost.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't remember to put it back in the lunchbox, you're like, yeah, I left it out, and you walk away, boom, that thing's gone forever. I always liked how like the lid, flipped over, you pour your soup in there, and you like sip it like you're, sipping on Earl Grey.
Which is a
tea.
joke too, by the way. How whose soup has stayed warm in that thing for that?
Nobody.
long?
No, it was
No.
It was definitely not a Yeti cooling technology. Or
Here you
anything
go,
like that.
sweetheart. Here's some cold tomato soup to dip your cold grilled cheese into.
Yeah. And then like
or when chicken noodle
back
soup was like the main course.
That's
yeah,
And
that
that's
was
all you got.
Yeah. You get like the little blue like freezing block type things you put in there. It's the size of like an old 90s cell phone. It takes up a quarter of your lunchbox space anyway. So it's like, oh, you wanted a side to go with your sandwich? It's tough because you get the little ice igloo brick in there instead.
That also didn't stay cold.
Yep.
So everything's at this lukewarm.
Yeah,
kind of
it's still worth it because you have the
nice room
temperature.
temperature. Yeah.
yeah.
Here's some random little toy action figures. I say action figures, but they didn't really do a whole lot. But I remember these were being sold. I remember seeing them on like an end cap at Walmart that had like all the books on like this little tiered stack. You could get these. Definitely not the best looking figures. Granted, it's the 90s and technology for toy making was different, but these were. They all look like just
to be the mutant on the left.
I thought so, but no, it's the executioner from the Terror of Tower. So
I thought that was the guy.
but he does look like the mutant from Attack of the Mutant with the colorway and everything. Like I said,
Weird.
Somebody didn't design that one well. Oh no, I take it back. You're right. That is the mutant on the left. It's the executioner here in the middle. I was looking at that flap behind his head.
Yeah,
So
that's
that makes
pretty
more
terrible.
sense. Yeah.
That's,
And of course, were you actually alive in the 90s if you didn't sit on a beanbag? These beans definitely look like they've been deflated over the years. Oh, poor Sathers. We're not making you feel old, man. You were alive in a great time period. You got to see Star Wars in the theater when it first came out. I am jealous of that.
dude,
experience.
and I'll admit too, I got into Goosebumps after their so-called age range too. I was reading it past 11. Yeah. But even when I started that, it's probably I don't even know how 13, 14 when I started reading. So
then there was some just random weird toys that they came out, just flip faces. Like I don't know what these were supposed to be, but at that point you're just like, I just want something Goosebumps, Mom. I just want something Goosebumps, Mom. This was one cool thing I specifically remember having. This is a little like reading booklight / bookmarker. So it would like clip onto the book, hold your pages, and actually shine a little light. Put a couple batteries in there. I had this. I remember reading the books. I specifically had this exact one, the special edition #1, 10 spooky stories.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool little light back in the day when the lamp was across the room and LEDs were not a thing. So good times with the weird, wacky merchandise.
I had a bunch. I can't remember what all those were from, but I had that. I think it was that board game, and I had those 3 of those toys that you just showed. I thought, I can't remember if those were Happy Meals or not, but yeah.
Yeah, Paul says, who didn't sit in a saggy beanbag chair?
And who didn't get a hole in it in a week?
Yeah, exactly.
My gosh.
I remember wrestling around with friends and like, I don't know how many times those things exploded and then it's just like poof.
Yep.
And you're cleaning that up for a month, especially if you had like carpet that was thick or whatever. It's like, good luck
And if
ever
a
getting
pillow
those
fight
back.
ever broke out at friend's house, someone
Say
had to
this-
go for the beanbag.
Yep.
Sathis says, I remember reading the Choose Your Own Way books. Paul says there was also Pez dispensers. Yeah. I mean, you name it, bed sheets, home decor. You mentioned the board game, so we'll talk about that. Here's a look at one of the board games. They had more than one, but this is the one I remember playing at a friend's house.
Man, I miss the old commercials.
And it's also a sign of the 90s too, when you're actually getting a televised commercial that's 30 seconds long for a board game.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Milton Bradley. But do you? Plot twist: you don't. Everybody dies. There was also, I think, I can't remember if it was Escape from Horrorland, but they had multiple board games. That was a good one.
I like how she moved her character like one spot, and the girl's like, "Oh!" Like,
I know,
like
that's
surprise.
The overacting on kids' toy commercials back in the 90s is just great.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there were Pogs, because you couldn't have anything in the 90s that didn't have its own Pog. We probably need to do our own episode on that.
Yeah,
have
Pogs, Pogs will have it.
In-person Pog match showdown.
Yep.
Play
Yeah,
Pog for real stakes.
I'll have to ask. I wonder if my mom kept the Pogs. She says she's kept a lot of my old toys from the
good
past.
stuff?
But
You got them. You got them.
They've got to
Mom,
exist somewhere.
where's the
Those
good
things.
stuff?
I had so many Pogs.
For a short while, there was a little bit of a Disney World experience.
Really?
Yeah. So, Horrorland Fright Show was the name of the attraction. It only lasted from October 8th, 1997 to November 1st, 1998. So it was very short-lived. But they had various Goosebumps characters from the books. They would do like a little stage show. It's almost like just a goofy magic show. But they were running around. You could see them at Walt Disney World when Walt Disney World was partnered with MGM Studios for a little while. And like I said, it only lasted that very short 1 year time frame. So if you didn't see it then, you never got to see it again. But there are awesome recordings you can find on YouTube of people. I'm always amazed that people were, recording things like that for 30 minutes straight on a VHS camcorder on their shoulder, and they've uploaded it over here. Yeah, but I mean, that's the Halloween costume you want, Jordan. The hamster.
Yes,
The hamster,
that's
yeah.
the one.
Yep.
Put a cage around it.
And I love specifically about this promo. You couldn't hear it because of the audio, because I had to mute it because of copyright or whatever. But this is actually an advertisement where they're talking about happy holidays and like Merry Christmas with this all going.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. I promise you. And that's why you see the snowflakes come across. Happy holiday.
Why does Slappy look like he's just straight out of a mob gangster movie right now?
I mean, yeah, he definitely does look like. All right, oh, but I mean, that's 1997. That's pretty good looking costume.
Yes.
Pika
I like
says,
the
"Wow,
answer.
that's so dope." Doug doesn't want the plug pulled tonight. I'm going to try. This will be like the first time in a month that maybe our episode
will make it.
stays up longer than 5 minutes after we go off, because all the other ones have been pulled immediately. So I tried to do a little work on the back end to see if the stuff we're showing you tonight is going to be okay for us to show you without me getting dinged. But I don't care. I want you guys to see this firsthand. That's why we're doing it. And of course, we can't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I do think having the sound off for some of the commercials and TV spots might help. Well, again,
It'll help, but it detracts, because
it gets rid of the fun.
like I said,
It does,
it gets rid of the fun, because you want to hear R.L. Stein firsthand telling you happy holidays while there's an executioner, a giant hamster,
Well, I'd be like,
maybe
all that going on in the background, because you're like, why is this happening?
maybe moving forward, us three, we watch all the videos beforehand and we memorize what's said. So they hear the sound from us.
It's like Mystery Science Theater 3000, only worse.
Yes.
But of course, we got to talk about the TV show. The TV show was amazing.
It was.
The intro music was awesome. I tried to load it earlier and I got dinged for it. So this is a commercial that only has a small smidgen of it. So we'll see if we get dinged for it. But the TV show lasted 4 seasons, 5 depending on who you ask. It is on Netflix currently. So if you want to binge watch it, go to Netflix. 74 episodes, airing from October 27th, 1995 to November 16th, 1998.
Yeah, that's a low budget intro.
Oh, I mean, everything about the show was low budget, but the costumes they put together were pretty impressive for how cheaply everything was made. I vividly remember recording this on VHS, setting the timer and everything to record, because I was like at baseball practice or football practice when it was on. So I would come home from practice, watch, shower, eat dinner, and then watch the Goosebumps episode.
The mask that you just showed us the picture of looked as good as the one in the.
I mean, They did a phenomenal job recreating that because they were going off of literally the artwork from the book because there was no like pictures inside the book. It was just what you see is what you get, on the cover. So
in that episode, it's actually really cool because she puts it on. The longer it's on her face, it looks more. It starts
accurate.
molding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In other words, that just looks like a real thing as it goes.
Paul says that haunted mask looks like He-Man. Looks like He-Man. Oh man, I have the power, but I can't take off the mask. Pika says I tried watching Afraid of the Dark, didn't like it. I mean, some things hold up to the test of time, some things don't. When you put on your adult goggles, it's hard to look back. Goosebumps is still quirky, and I still enjoyed it. I think they did a good job recreating the main story plots and premises of these books. They translate really well onto the television screen. Obviously, they condense a lot of the story to make it a 22-minute episode, but for as low budget as it is, I thought they did a great job. I read that R.L. Stine had like the final sign-off okay of all the scripts, so that's another reason why it was quality television show.
It's really good. Like the funny thing is, I was just watching. I watched 3 episodes last night on the show, and I still love it just as much. But I was thinking how it just works because even for today's being an adult, it just kind of is like a cheesy B scary movie, B style scary movie. And it's just so even though it's cheesy, it's still kind of fun in a cheesy way. But
I do love a good cheesy scary movie. I called Adam the other day because I was looking for different movies to watch throughout October while I'm working, and there was some description for some movie called Rubber that they said there's no explanation as to why, just a tire falls off of a semi truck.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, it's a horror movie. It's great.
Starts trying to kill people, and I was like, that sounds wonderful. It sounds wonderful.
People thought you were talking about a condom for a second.
No, probably.
Yeah. It's a killer condom.
It's a crazy movie because it's sorry to get off the subject, but it's like one of those things you see on a piece of paper. It's like a story about a tire that goes on a killing rampage, and you're like, how did somebody pitch this and walk out of a room with a check?
Exactly. I know.
Like
it's
got something here.
It's that kind of stuff. When every description's like that, I'm like, okay. There was another one I was telling him about. We're kind of getting off topic here. But there was another one I just told him about that I was reading one of the reviews on IMDb. I don't even remember what the movie was called, and they were like, this movie is about this guy who creates a cardboard fort in his house and things in the fort come to life. And they're like, it was so juvenile and stupid. If phrases like giant tunnel of vagina death is funny to you, then or it sounds childish to you, then you should stay away. And I remember reading it and I was like,
that sounds great.
Watch that. I was like, that kind of sounds funny to me. No, it's kind of. I was like, I don't even remember what it was. It was something very weird like that. But I was like, that could be funny. Okay, it's like really dumb.
There we go.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about B movies one day.
So, we were talking about the board game a little while ago. I want to show you guys a clip of a video game. This was a full motion video. And let's see if my keyboard wakes up, and I had to mute the sound on this one, but this was Escape from Horrorland. It came out in 1996. It was a direct continuation of the book, and like I said, it was the 90s. Sega CD was popular. FMV video games were all the rage. So this is what you got. But fun fact, and this is going to be one of those things, once you say it out, or once I say it out loud, you're going to go, no, that's not real. A very impressive actor has a nice cameo in this video game. None other than Jeff Goldblum.
What?
Interesting.
Yep. Jeff Goldblum makes a special appearance in the video game.
I'm pretty sure that was also the kid from the Santa Claus movie too.
Could be. But this is this is the type of CD-ROM adventure.
I remember this.
Yep. There's, like I said, they've made so many. They've made mobile games. They've made PlayStation games.
There he was right there.
Every generation, there's been a Goosebumps game, but the ones I remember were the ones that were early Windows, PC based. Throw in your disc. There was look at that. Look at those costumes. Escape from Horrorland.
This was a continuation of the book.
Yep, it was like
if you wanted the full story of Escape from
Horrorland,
you had to have this Sega CD game.
Yeah, exactly.
Good sales pitch right there for those who have not
That's,
get it.
that's
get
how
it
they got
today.
you. But I didn't get that until it was like 2000 when it was all said and done. Like I found it at like a record store or something. It was like it was mixed in with like the CDs. That's how I came across it, and I was like, I didn't know this was a thing. Started playing it, and I was like, boom.
Don't you love it though? So this just that comment alone. This was
Mhm.
so bad it was good. You know, there's
Yep.
there's some games you could put out there in that. I mean, Sega CD had a lot of them.
There's plenty of
Yeah.
games, movies, shows that have
Yeah.
that have fallen under that category. So bad it's good. Like
That might be an episode in itself.
it's one thing. It's one thing when something's trying to be bad, be funny, and it just doesn't quite get there. But there are some that I think the creators of the movie, game, show, whatever, honestly thought that they were making something incredible. And again, it's just so it's good.
just a bit outside.
Yeah.
I always feel bad because at some point somebody thought they were putting together the greatest things, but sometimes it just doesn't hit. But yes, that was on PC. Sathius, to answer your question. Like I said, I think they even made a Goosebumps game like 3 years
Trap
ago.
was exactly what I was thinking of. Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say. So I mean, they're still making the franchise. The IP is still very much alive, and of course, we had movies. The first one was the most successful one. It was the just self-titled Goosebumps movie. So it came out in 2015. Starred Jack Black as R.L. Stine. It wasn't autobiographical in nature, but he did play the title character / author, loosely based on him creating these monsters, and they all come to life and ransack this town. Made $158 million on an $84 million budget. And then in 2018, they came out with Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween. It was originally going to be an Escape from Horrorland movie, but the director fell out and they just scrapped that idea and changed it on a whim and didn't bring back the original cast of characters. And they said, hey, we're just going to do something completely different. But it still was successful. It made $95 million on a $35 million budget. So even if you didn't like them, even if you didn't watch them, they still made the studios money. And that's always a good.
Sounds like Goosebumps is just making money all around.
Yeah, I mean, 400 million books sold, lots of video games, 2 in-theater movies. I mean, it's hard to deny the appeal, whether, like I said, whether we grew up and look back on it fondly or whether people look at it and say, not my thing.
I'll admit, I didn't think the movies looked that good personally, so I didn't watch them. I'm just honest. Did anyone watch them? Were they any good? Huh?
I watched the first one and the second one. The first one is much more enjoyable than the second. Second one is clearly like just for a very specific generation of kids. The first Goosebumps movie, though, it's like, hey, if you our age growing up, you'll enjoy it. Your kids will enjoy it, type of thing.
And dude, I'm not even kidding. What Paul just said is exactly
it does.
Why I was there. So like, this looks like a freaking Rampage movie. Not even kidding.
Yeah, and it was poorly timed because that was about the same time that the Rampage movie with The Rock was coming out. So yeah, just missing Liz character.
Yep.
Liz looks like a dummy. Not too far off the mark. Not too far off the mark.
And honestly, it's weird. I love Jack Black. If you didn't even know, like on Twitter, I always just use his Nacho Libre just for everything. But like, whenever I don't know why, but him just being R.L. Stine too for that movie, I was like, this just is not.
It was a weird one. Yeah, like
like I don't know.
He didn't need to be R.L. Stine to me. Like they could have called him whatever, and it would have been fine. But yeah. Pika kind of aligns. His first one wasn't that bad. Second one's terrible, and I kind of agree. But then again, I'm also not the demographic for the second one. I just watched it for fandom and the fact that I was like, well, I've already watched the first one. I got all the books. Like, it's an hour and a half of my life. I'll be all right.
New Willow, Sathius?
Yes,
sure.
Very excited.
I can't even talk about how bad I wish Val Kilmer was in that. But yeah,
obviously, issues and why that can't happen, but
at least he was a Maverick and was a really cool part Maverick. If you guys haven't seen the new one,
excited about Willow. Another odd thing that was going around in the 90s. This was from Hasbro. This was the Monster Head playset. So I had to mute the audio on this one, but you got to like decorate the creepy skeleton. It was basically like Mr. Potato Head on demonic steroids.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like everything in the 90s, for whatever reason, all these toy companies were like convinced we all wanted like ooze and slime and
Yep,
like, all
they were right, and we
yeah.
still do apparently.
Yeah, we still do, but like our parents, God, they must have hated these toy companies because everything had some sort of ectoplasm slime thing going on.
I'm pretty sure my cousin Kyle had that because I think I remember playing with that. We also played with creepy crawlers a lot. Do you remember those?
Creepy crawlies were good, and then there was like there was an easy bake oven for boys that like you made bugs that were like just basically gummies. Monster Blood, I remember Gek. Yeah, we talked about Gek last week on the Nickelodeon episode. Like I said, in the 90s, it was just like, hey, kid, here's your toy and here's your slime. They were just hand in hands. Is that goo edible? I don't think it was for that specific toy. I know there was other ones like the creepy crawlies and some other similar toys that had edible like centipedes and worms and stuff. You were supposed to there's like a zombie brain type of thing. The 90s were all out there.
Yeah, funny story about Gak real quick is my wife was babysitting this kid Jacob, and he wanted to secretly bring Gak in the car, so he decided to put it in the pocket, not in the container.
Ooh.
In his pocket?
Yes, it literally, literally, he's like, he probably has to be like, Brianna, and it's just literally just stuck. Like you couldn't get it out. Like I don't know what he was thinking. Like, yep, I'll just pull it out of my pocket. It's good to go. Yep, just couldn't get it out. Yep.
Oh man.
That's really
As
great.
Dawn says, did you guys talk about the Give Yourself Goosebumps books, Choose Your Own Adventure? I like those. Yeah, we mentioned those. Like I said, I vividly remember being the kid that was like, all right, I'm just gonna read a couple pages, doing all right. And then what do I got here? Oh, don't like that. And then I'm like, I didn't take my thumb never left the page.
I totally would.
So I'm like, I could go back, it's fine. But yeah, I died lots and lots of time before I finally got to the end.
I'll try to stop those, which they're getting smarter about their quick saves. But like the game The Quarry, my wife and I were playing it, and she made one choice, and I see the thing go out of the characters. I'm like, no! I'm like, grabbing the controller from her, hitting pause, and backing out to the main menu. Like maybe it didn't save yet.
Nope. Didn't count. The video clip didn't finish playing. Good stuff.
And
of course,
it didn't work.
Yep. Sad ending.
We talked about Goosebumps going 1 through 62 was its first iteration, and of course, it had like a new breath of life into it. Turned into Goosebumps 2000. So let me show you a little advertisement of Goosebumps 2000. Not creepy at all.
Here comes the bride. Here comes the bride.
Wait, what is this?
This is Goosebumps 2000. This was the new series that took over after. Yeah, see, everything was 2000 and 2K, because it was the new millennium. So he continued with the Goosebumps series after a brief hiatus after the 1 through 62, but that was what took over was Goosebumps 2000.
Man, that teacher's pet cover was awesome.
It was, like I said,
yeah.
Much of the same, like I said, the art styling, artistry, all along the same vein. A lot of the characters, like I said, Slappy, the ventriloquist, comes back. So at its core, it still was Goosebumps, but didn't have the same identical aesthetic. So almost, but not quite.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I told you guys this, Adam and Jordan, off stream last week. But I'll mention to the stream. I actually got to meet R.L. Stine at San Diego Comic-Con in 2017. And I was actually lucky enough to get him to autograph a couple of my childhood books. So that was one of those like childhood bucket list type things. Like 10-year-old me is so excited that I'm meeting R.L. Stine. And it was fun. The hardest thing was like keeping my Goosebumps books like protected for the entire day, because I don't know if you're familiar with San Diego Comic-Con, but it's like 200,000 people shoulder to shoulder, smashing into everybody for 4 days straight. It's a bit hectic. So like I got it all autographed and I'm like, sweet. And I'm like, nobody touched me. Like there's not like a locker or a backpacking, but it's not like you can like walk to the car, because when there's that many people, you parked like 8 miles away, or you took a trolley 10 miles away to get there. So it was an experience to say the least. And I told you guys, but I'll tell the stream, to get the autograph, I had to wait in line to go through this queue reach my hand into a fishbowl, pull out a number. And if the number had like a stamp on the back of it that had a star, then you got to get an autograph. It wasn't like you just wait in line for the celebrity. You had to wait in a line to get a chance to wait in a line to meet said celebrity. So that's how they did it at Comic-Con. And I had to go through that line about 7 times, and my wife went through it first try for me because I was failing over and over again. She just went through once. And she's like, is this what you need? Got it. Thanks, hon.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So you didn't tell us this though. Like when you went to meet him, did did he say anything to you? Did you talk to him at all?
Yeah, brief interaction.
Did you touch his hand?
Yeah, I gave him like the hood handshake type of thing.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I'm gonna call you R dog.
Yeah, if that's cool.
Is that good? Yeah, that's cool. No, I'm sure I told him the same thing that 9,000 million other people have said. Like, hey, grew up reading your books. That's why I got into reading. Loved every bit of it. Thank you so much for being a part of my childhood. Probably the same thing he hears on a daily basis, which is cool, and I'm sure it's why he still does it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was very kind in the little 5 minutes. He signed 3 of the books. That was like the minimum you were allowed to get. Or
did he actually say anything, or did he just go shh and like tell you to quiet, like shh?
No, I mean, and you can tell by his penmanship, his autograph is like terrible. He's like talking and just like signing, talking and signing.
That's
He's
cool.
not even like paying attention. You can tell when you look at it, like, man, that guy looks like he was drunk. If you look at his signature, but it's because
that's
he's
cool.
having an actual interaction with people, and like I'm a grown ass man talking to him, but clearly he knows that like he can look at me and go, yeah, you were probably that perfect age, and sure enough, I was. Kong says, I'm definitely a core demographic for all your topics. Love Goosebumps. I tried telling my 10-year-old about it, and am going to buy some for him. Well, there you go.
You know what? Speaking of which, yes, I do have the Sega Genesis Mini 2 on pre-order, but you know what? I think we'll give one away on the show whenever it releases because we got it on pre-order anyways. Works for our time frame and demographic we're trying to do for retro.
Pre-order what?
The Sega Genesis Mini 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The second one, it has Sega
CD games on there. It's got a good collection.
We love Sega in this house.
Sega's pretty cool.
We like Sega. So last but not least, where do we end? Where's the current Goosebumps? Well, in 2023, there's going to be a Disney Plus live action Goosebumps television show. So they've already ordered 10 episodes, so we'll get that next year. The new Goosebumps series follows a group of 5 high schoolers who unleash supernatural forces upon their town and must all work together. Thanks to it, in spite of their friendships, rivalries, and past with each other. That is the official synopsis. In order to save it, learning much about their own parents' teenage secrets in the process. So it's a little bit of old meets new, the same kind of tried and true formula. Interesting fact that the series is going to be written by the director of the first Goosebumps movie. So if you enjoyed that one or you thought it was good enough, you'll say, okay, this show might be good enough to watch with the kids. So keep on the lookout for that next year. I would assume it'll be coming around this time next year, 2023. It just seems like, fall would be the ideal release date for that. But I am personally looking forward to it.
Is the show going to have Liz?
Maybe.
Is Liz going to make the cut?
Yeah. Hopefully this will be better. I mean, Disney's got the money, so like
they do. They do. I feel like some of their original Disney Plus shows have been hit or miss. Like I was like some of their Star Wars stuff has been incredible, and you just never know. I know it's a weird thing. Like, are they going to do good with it?
Incredible.
What?
Said some hasn't been incredible.
The Star Wars one?
Not all of it.
Of what I've watched, it's been. I guess I haven't
some
watched
has, some haven't. Yeah.
Okay.
Dawn, I kind of agree here. Like, going off that plot synopsis or whatever, it's not recreating the books themselves. It's like, hey, here's Goosebumps setting, Goosebumps characters in the background. So, I mean, it's hard to judge until I see it, but yeah, I would have personally preferred. I'm like, he's written 400 books. Like, pull those stories out.
Enough source material there.
Didn't even have to be the original 62. Like, pull from newer stuff. That's fine. Introduce me to some characters that I haven't been aware of because I haven't been reading Goosebumps, since I was a kid. So we'll see. I'll give it a shot. It's not going to cost me anything other than my normal Disney Plus subscription, but I'm definitely looking out for it.
Yep. Same. I do. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I wish it was off the books, but at the same time, hopefully it's good. Yeah, still exciting.
Ooh, Here's an idea from Paul. Can we get a choose your own adventure interactive TV show?
Or game. That'd be kind of
there,
sweet.
there was a Netflix show that did that, right? There was like a couple years ago.
Black Mirror Bandersnatch, yeah.
There you go. That's what it was. Yep.
I thought you
I knew
that
somebody
up.
had tried that. No, that's that's it.
Can you say title again? What is it?
Well, it's the Black Mirror show. There was an episode called Bandersnatch. It's very similar to like Until Dawn or The Quarry, like that type of like game. Only instead of you actually
you're using the controller.
You're just picking.
Paul says 21st century version of
Yeah.
Dragon's Lair. Yeah. But,
very cool.
there was a WWE one with the Undertaker.
Wait,
I don't remember that one.
Wait, what are we
I don't
talking
remember
about?
that one at all.
WWE?
There was a WWE one, I think, and this is Undertaker. Yes,
like interactive
show.
If there was, I missed it, which is
Yeah.
surprising because I was a huge WWE/Taker fan for sure. Bear Grylls did it too. Bear Grylls also faked a lot of his TV shows. So.
Yeah, which is really sad. I was so into Man vs. Wild, and then I heard that. I was like, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's like, I can't, I don't know if I'll be able to last the night. And he goes to the Holiday Inn across the street.
Yep. I mean, I guess at least he still ate animal poop, I guess.
Oh, that's right. Now, okay, yeah. So this was a recent one. Yeah. So it was the Undertaker with the New Day. So Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods.
Cool.
I remember that. That was like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. I remember that now.
Not that they don't have enough of their own content to do, because I mean they like.
Yeah.
But well, I was gonna say Supermassive Games that did Until Dawn and the whole Dark Pictures anthology, The Quarry, like all of that type of. I mean, that's that same kind of idea, but in a video game. It'd actually be kind of cool if a video game company picked up the rights to a couple of the Goosebumps, yeah. I can't talk tonight. Some of the Goosebumps stuff and went with that.
So
like even some of the already existing choose your own adventure books, but just do them in video game mode.
I'm just shocked how natural you said Black Mirror Bandersnatch or whatever.
And then I can't say Goosebumps that we've been talking about. Yeah.
No, that would be awesome.
I can only start the sentence as well. After after a few words, I lose it.
It goes bye-bye. But all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for our show this evening. Like I said, thank you all for hanging out, talking Goosebumps with us. I can't again talk about how awesome the art is. Share them with your kids, read them with your kids. 7 to 11 is the core demographic age range, but I mean, kids younger and older than that will still probably enjoy them. If you're older fan like us, like I said, I cannot emphasize enough how much you need this book right here, The Art of the Goosebumps. Said you get the history of the artwork, you get all the insightful backstory. It's just good.
I was going to say, if this episode doesn't get taken down, did you want to put the link for that?
I will try it right now. So see if it goes in the link. So I just put Barnes and Noble, which is what I found that has it in stock. Cool. So if you're on the lookout for it, you can go ahead and buy it from Barnes and Noble. That is not an affiliate link, so I will not make 2 cents. So don't worry if that's something that bothers you. McCole says, "Do Animorphs next." That was
Did other people watch? Of course, I thought I was the only person who knew about that.
No, I watched it. Yeah, I watched it. And there was another one. Like you go to this classic book fair, and it was like. There was a Goosebumps book. There was an Animorphs book. There was Boxcar Children. There was another very similar.
I didn't realize Animorphs was a book. I just watched the show.
Yeah, the show came after the book. Yeah, but yeah, very, very similar premise, storyline. As far as like very popular book series for children turns into a TV series. Very low budget, very dodgy special effects. Very in line with the how Goosebumps evolved. But yeah, Animorphs, it was another thing that I was reading. Not as much as I was loving Goosebumps, but I still enjoyed a lot of the Animorphs books. Boxcar Children was great. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, guys, keep throwing those ideas out there for episodes too. So, like, yeah, the more we hear on that, give us ideas. I mean, we have tons of stuff coming, but it's just good to hear from you guys too, so we can pull at your nostalgia. And yeah, there'll be a lot of topics, obviously. So,
gentlemen, is there anything you guys got coming up on your channel, Complete Geek TV, that you want to talk about? You want to plug?
Yeah, we have a controller that we're doing a review in comparison on. We have the Blitz arcade 1-up cabinet that we're doing, that we're going to be doing some fun stuff with. But yeah, those are the two main ones we have coming out. So
nice.
Yep.
Matthew says, I'm going as the Phantom of the Auditorium for Halloween because it would be cheap and easy and dad puns galore. Going with a real hamster in a cage could be in order. There you go. Party on, Wayne. I love that.
I did too.
The real hamster. That's icing on the cake right there. You win Halloween, Matthew. Thank you so much for that super chat earlier. And I love that premise. If you do that, please send us a picture, tag us on social media, because I would kill to see that setup.
Yes, agree.
I've seen some like 90s nostalgic, like Nickelodeon Halloween costumes, but I don't think I've ever seen a decent Goosebumps one.
Yep.
Camp Jelly Jam, the camp counselor, that would be a good creepy Halloween costume.
That would. You could just get some of those teeth, just
the teeth.
That's all you have to do the whole time. Yeah, high pants. Oh yeah,
high pants. You're good to go. Just flip the biker cap upwards. I'd have to wear my hat forward, which would be like sacrilegious, but it is what it is. I could make a sacrifice, but that does it for this evening show. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Like I said, if you guys have any future topics you want us to consider, talk about, feel free to send it into the chat. We'll see if this video stays up. I don't know, because it's literally a roll of the dice how YouTube operates. But you can also tag us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, wherever we are, you can find us. And until next week, guys.
See you guys.
See you soon.
See you.